Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass. Because, guys, almost 35 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 35 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smart ass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey. And that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling, even with health issues. I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. I want everyone to know someone is listening. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And you can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. My book is now on audio with my voice, guys. So Simon & Schuster wanted to do it with someone else's voice, and I was like, no way. So my producer, part owner of Hamilton Radio, Ruben Rodriguez, owner of Iron Horse Films, is now doing audiobooks with your voice. So if any authors are interested, please, please reach out. And guys, listen, if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. I'm here to help you. Before I introduce my really cool guests, I'd like to give a shout out to just a few of my sponsors today. So I've got John Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer-songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit network created for the creative. So he's partners in the Joey D and Johnny B. Rockin' Oldies band. He also sings alone, but a huge shout-out to him and his wife, Linny, because they put this luncheon on once a month. It's by invite only. It's $20, and great lunch, incredible entertainment, and they don't keep a penny of it. They also do 50/50s, and they promote all of us like nobody else does. So a huge thank you to both of you. Then I've got Stormin' Norman Selden, performing for live concerts, national events, and promoter of shows. 732-245-4777, www.stormandnormanselden.com. And a lot of people don't know this, but he helped get Larry Chance back in the day started. Larry Chance from the Earls, the song Remember Then. Then we've got Michael Zanman, singer, entertainer, performer, www.mzanman.com. So guys, a really cool little story about Zanman. First off, keep him in prayer. His cancer has returned, but he's doing better, okay, guys? Just keep him in prayer. But he recorded about a year ago Mel Carter's song, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me. And he put it out on Facebook. So he didn't know it, but I sent it to my buddy Mel. Mel calls me and says, your boy did a great job with my song, Jer. I said, can you tell him? We surprised him with a three-way. He fell off his chair, okay? Can you imagine? That would be like Elvis calling me, right? Okay? I mean, come on, Mel Carter telling him, man, you did a great job with my song. That was pretty cool. So, Mel Carter, we love you. And then last today, but certainly not least, John Monforto, the man of many faces, singer, actor, celebrity impersonator, and tribute artist. So I gave him the title, the man of many faces. He does over 30, incredibly. But he was given the title by a former Philadelphia mayor as the official Philadelphia Rocky impersonator. Guys, he is Rocky. So my three favorites, of course, Rocky, of course, The Godfather, and Elvis, baby. Thank you very much. www.johnmonforto.com. So I want to mention one more person because he's my newest sponsor. His name is Robert Sweeney. and he's a retired U.S. Air Force one-man band, guitar player, writer, producer, AI digital creator. He made me an AI theme song without me even knowing. We're going to be playing it at the end of the show today. It's incredible. And he did a theme song about the Jersey Devil, and now they're going to try and make a movie out of it. All right? Explore powerful stories of love, loss, and legacy through his music and YouTube and Spotify. Let's bring these emotional and thought-provoking tales to life. So, guys, I would like to now introduce my really cool guests. Okay, so everyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge Elvis, oldies, and doo-wop girl. Okay, and here's the thing: you still can't take all that other stuff out of me. All right, because I was born in '61. So I've been to all the concerts. I even went to a Rush concert 100 years ago. All right? And Zeppelin and Genesis and Foreigner and Foghat. I think Foreigner was my first concert. Okay? It was amazing. Okay? Jethro Tull, that was one of the greatest. All right? So even though I'm an oldies Elvis doo-wop girl, and I don't even know why that, because I was born in '61 and all those songs came out before I was born. Okay? It's just in me. But again, I love all the music. So guys, I want to introduce these two guys, two of three. We will talk about the third, okay? The Rush Experience. So we've got Vince and we've got Burke with us. David couldn't make it. Say hi, guys.
Hey, how's
y'all
everybody?
doing?
Okay, so all right, I'll give you the mic first, Vince. You talk. Tell everyone a little bit about you and the Rush Experience.
Wow, gee. Well, I'm a huge Rush fan. I'm a huge fan of all those bands that you just mentioned.
Yeah?
And, I've been in the music business a long time. I've been signed to a major label. Yeah, that didn't work out. Played in numerous cover bands and had kind of an epiphany years ago. After a couple of original projects just didn't work out. Playing original music in the early 2000s was a difficult thing to do. So I just said to myself, what music makes me the happiest, and what do you love to play the most? And it's Rush. So 10 years ago, 12 years ago, tribute bands are starting to kind of pop a little bit. So I believe it or not, I saw an ad on I don't know what it was. Some social media. It was a guitar player looking to start a Rush tribute band, and that's how it happened. I just kind of stumbled into it, and it's kind of morphed itself into this project, which is the third iteration of my Rush tribute journey, and it's just been wonderful to land with David and Burke.
Tell everyone your full name.
Vince Tricarico.
There you go.
Nice Irish guy from Northern Virginia.
That's cool. So now let's give the mic to your buddy. Tell everyone your full name.
My name is Johnny Burkhun. I go by Burke. I'm the second, named after my grandfather from a long line of Texans. So grew up in Texas. And I was introduced to Rush pretty early on in my formative guitar playing days, and my drummer was my best friend, and he was like, "Hey man, have you heard of Rush?" I was like, "Yeah, I heard of Rush." And then it was like a black hole of time and energy spent listening to and absorbing Rush. That was when I was maybe 16, 17 years old. And it's been a lifelong pursuit. Kind of hit the pause button for many years. I was in radio, worked for National Public Radio headquarters in Washington, D.C. for 15 years. I was a broadcast engineer and a technical director. I worked for a show called Weekend Edition. I was their technical director for many years. Had young kids, eventually worked out where I could do my own business, which is what you see sort of behind me, which is repairing amps and fixing them and building rigs for pro guitar players and touring musicians. And then this opportunity came up to play in this band, and I grabbed it with both hands, and they've yanked me along for the ride.
Thank
Okay.
God. Thank
So-
God Burke picked up the phone that day.
So, Burke, I have a few silly questions for you.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
then,
no questions, silly.
no, they are, trust me. And then
Oh,
we'll go
okay,
to
then they
Vince,
are.
okay? So, I mean, usually from Texas, you're into country music.
I am into country music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
dabble
in fact,
in
I
both?
just took my daughter to New York City this last weekend to see a country artist, Zach Bryan, and Bruce Springsteen came out on stage with him. So yeah, that's still a big part of me.
Okay, because I mean that's what I hear anyway. So
Yeah, do you still hear the accent?
so all right, so now
I will say y'all.
there you go. So it's a little weird, right, for a Texan musician to like Rush, right?
I would kind of, although I'm going to say Rush always did really well in Texas. Like if you
Oh.
read Getty's book,
Oh,
he's talking about the earliest days, and Texas was always a really big part of their early journey. So yeah, no, it is a little weird, but yeah, no, I like George Jones and George Strait and
yeah, sure.
Buck Owens, but I
Yeah.
like Getty and Neil and Alex too.
Maybe turn the lights down low, lock the door, and turn the lights down low, right?
That's right. Yeah,
So
you might be able to Texas two-step to Manhattan Project, but I haven't tried it.
Okay, so now Vince. Growing up, who were some of your musical influences?
Well, I think you always hear these musicians talk about the moment they wanted to be on stage playing, and for me, that was Gene Simmons spitting blood. When I saw the Kiss Alive 2 record, when I was
No.
yeah, Gene Simmons, and I got to look Gene Simmons in the face recently, a few years ago, and look at him and give him a thumbs up, and tell him that he was the reason I wanted to play music. But when I
No.
saw Peter Criss's drum set going all over the place, I was like, whoa, that's incredible. So, Kiss kind of lit the fire. But I'll never forget. Shortly thereafter, I was at a buddy of mine's house, and in the afternoon after school, and he had an older brother, and in his older brother's bedroom, I heard "Black Dog" by Led Zeppelin,
Oh.
and I'm telling you, unfortunately for Kiss, Led Zeppelin was the band that made me burn every Kiss record I had, because I've spent my whole life, as we talked before we came on, Led Zeppelin and Rush. I mean, I'm a pretty simple guy. I can get pretty much everything I need from those two guys. There's lots of great bands. I love Genesis. I'm late.
Oh, forget
to the
it.
Genesis.
Follow you, follow me. Forget it.
More of the nerdy prog guy. Like the Nursery Crime Cinema Show and Firth the Fifth and all that. I mean, I cannot believe that. And they were. I was too young to catch those guys.
Oh, no.
Genesis to me was the pop.
Genesis
Phil
to me,
Collins,
forget
that
it.
wasn't really my thing.
Genesis helped also get me into art school because I had to draw their album cover and I had to
Oh,
draw
yeah.
Aqualung
Yeah.
in black and whites back then in '79 in New York School of Visual Arts. So they all helped me get into art school. Yeah. Follow You,
Yeah,
Follow Me is probably one of my favorite all-time songs of all time.
Well, there's no question that the songwriting between Peter Gabriel and then all of a sudden the guy sitting back behind you just takes the band to a whole nother level.
Okay.
But it was when John Bonham passed away. I was probably in the 8th grade, in the 7th grade, but I was playing with some guys who were older than me, and this guy goes, "Hey, you got to hear this drum solo." And it was Working Man Finding My Way off of All the World's a Stage, the live album from Rush. And I heard Neil Peart. It was, I mean, game over. I have been listening to that guy and studying him ever since. And I'm still love listening to him and figuring his parts out.
That's really cool. Okay, very
And it's
cool.
again, it's the happiest music I like to play.
Oh my gosh, that's very cool. So
Yeah.
now, Burke,
Yes.
who were some of your musical influences?
Interesting. So for me, let's see here. Ironically, the pop Genesis was a huge influence as a listener, anyway, not as a musician. But when I really had a guitar in my hands, especially being in Texas, we're talking Stevie Ray Vaughan, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith.
Yeah.
These are the guys that like made my blood pump, made me come home and practice, which didn't feel like work. It was like, it's like I'm channeling something important. And so that's what, I was really, Led Zeppelin, I would come home and watch The Song Remains the Same by Led Zeppelin and be frustrated because I was like, man, I'm playing, I know my guitar's in tune, I'm playing, but what Jimmy Page is playing is not what I'm hearing. And come to find out, that's exactly what's happening. They went back and reshot everything on a soundstage in England, and and the audio was from Madison Square Garden, but the video was from the soundstage in England. So I was like, why it was so frustrating trying to learn how to play guitar watching that. But yeah, Led Zeppelin. That was it. We're talking, Black Dog and Song Remains the Same. The Rain song. That's what made everything work for me. But also being in Texas, Stevie Ray is a gateway. Like I learned so much just trying to learn. When you learn the blues, when you learn the blues on guitar, you can play anything. Because everything more or less is based on the blues. You can use it as a springboard to go anywhere, from prog to pop to punk, anything. If you master the blues, you can play all those different styles.
So now, let's mention the third guy that was supposed to be here, unfortunately, and he's not here.
David Kidd. Again, this whole band came together. I was in another Rush tribute and really wasn't doing a whole spending more time in the bass on the stage. So I decided that I wanted to try to do something different. So I called a couple of friends of mine and introduced me to David. And David is amazing. He plays the role of Geddy Lee, so he's singing, he's playing bass and playing keyboards, and he is as big a fan as Burke and I. That it's just when you get this, the goal is to try to do the best you possibly can. And our show is that. Our show, it replicates what you would see with Rush. With the drums, I have two separate drum sets that are exact one-to-one replicas of what Neil played through his entire career. But David will sit down and he'll work on enunciating the way Geddy Lee would sing a song. And I'll tell you what, that's a big deal. Because in the song Limelight, for instance, Geddy will say the word "the" twice or a couple times. But one time he'll say the other time he'll say "the." People miss that. And that sticks. That'll hit you like a little hammer on the thumb. So Dave will, not only can he play the stuff, but he'll agonize over enunciating the words and getting the meter the way Geddy would sing it, and he does it well.
Okay, so that's interesting. Do you happen to know who were some of his musical influences?
Yeah,
Kiss.
Burke. Yeah.
Kiss, big time is huge. David is by far the most gifted and knowledgeable musician that I've ever worked with. He can play piano, he can play bass, he can play guitar.
Wow.
But yeah, no, his musical influences are very wide and inclusive. And he can find something interesting in any type of music and style. But yeah, the one that he comes back to the most, especially late in sound checks and on the road and in the car, is Kiss. Kiss was a gateway. I think he has every moment of their entire history memorized.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, because you go from a band like Kiss and like Geddy Lee would say what you want to say about Kiss as a band and as musicians, but they would never compromise on putting on the best show. And of course, Rush spent a lot of time with those guys on the road, and I think they're polar opposites from a playmanship standpoint.
Yeah.
But from a work ethic perspective, they just put in the work, and then we're successful. It's like you just you keep at it, you keep going, and that's what I admired about Kiss. And I think the early days with Geddy, Alex, and Neil with Kiss showed them the way. That's like, okay, nobody's going to give you anything. You have to just work for it.
Okay. So now, do you guys write any songs?
Not as a group.
No.
Okay.
This is this tribute project is very dedicated to
Okay.
trying to recreate what we've lost because they don't play together anymore.
Okay, right. I mean, Elvis never wrote a song, so it's cool. Okay.
So we're in good company. That's what you're saying.
It's cool, baby. It's cool.
Elvis Presley and the Rush Experience.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
baby. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. All right, so let's first off give everybody a little treat. We have 3 of your songs. We're going to play one of them, and then we'll have you guys talk about what that song means to you, okay?
Great.
Here we go. So that was live.
Yes.
Okay, so it didn't sound great to you guys, but it sounds fine out there. It sounds exactly like the live sounds, loud and obnoxious. You know what I mean? That's how it sounds. No, I'm
Yeah.
teasing you. So
Oh,
what
so
it?
you've heard us.
Yes, right. So what's does this song mean to you guys?
Go ahead, Bert.
Um, it always means Neil's struggle with success and being a public figure, and trying to reconcile who he is with what he is. So that's always what it meant to me. But to me, it means an amazing guitar solo that I get to play every night. And it's a beautifully composed song on the guitar. So it's just shows like many different levels of genius, but just a great both pop song, but also a meaningful, like a deep thinking, meaningful song. Like to me, it just makes me think of Neil and how he is trying to deal with this, like the situation that he's in, which is very like fish out of water for him. So living in the limelight, uh, puts him in a place he's uncomfortable, but he has to deal with it. So that's what it means to me.
So wait, and then we'll have you, Vince, talk. But hold on. So this is pretty interesting that the way you describe that, because the average person wouldn't even think that or know that, right? But you know so much about the history. So he couldn't deal with being famous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was famous. He was famously shy. He, for instance, if you recognized him for what he is and was, he would be very uncomfortable with being appreciated
Oh
as a
no.
great drummer, as a great musician. But if you saw him at a diner and you were just having a cup of coffee and you were talking about motorcycles or something, he would just be the easiest to talk to guy. He didn't, it was uncomfortable for him to be admired, which is a lot of what that song is about.
Maybe, I don't know, because I also do counseling for families and all that. Maybe he was always told as a child he wasn't good enough.
It's possible. I think he had a pretty good childhood,
Okay, I hope so.
growing up in St. Catharines, but that obviously can very well be true.
Yeah.
I think he just struggled. He was a deep thinker and he was a big reader
Okay,
and he was very he was trying to reconcile the world he was in all the time. So he was just
gotcha.
absorbing everything, and so yeah. So I think it was just difficult for him
Wow.
to be put on a pedestal. Like he didn't feel comfortable
Yeah,
there.
wow. Okay, very cool. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah,
All right,
you're
Burke.
welcome.
So now, Vince, what does this song mean to you? Can you top that? I mean, can you top
Well,
that?
I can top it because I am not a deep thinker.
Okay.
I listen to one thing and it goes right out my mouth. It doesn't even make it to the other ear. For me, that album, Moving Pictures, I hear a fantastically recorded record. I like the way it sounds sonically. There's a lyric in there that says, "I cannot pretend a stranger is a long-awaited friend," and that's where Neil was dealing. When that record came out in 1981. That's where Rush, really started hitting the mainstream. The song Tom Sawyer, for whatever reason, made it, which is a lot of it is in an odd time signature of 7, makes it on pop radio and it's being played all over the place. Now people are coming out of the woodwork and they think they know you and they're looking, there's time constraints to do this interview or do that. And that just made him really uncomfortable. If you notice, Neil Peart never did any press. And he just did not want to deal with it. He did not want to be known. Adulation made him feel uncomfortable.
Wow.
Oh my God, you're the greatest. And he was. Yeah, that guy was the greatest drummer ever.
Yeah.
He did so much for drumming across the board, but he was just a cool guy. All 3 of those guys were just regular guys. And he just could not handle the adulation and knowing, he said something once. He goes, I don't mind your fantasy. I just don't want to be in it. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So, and people have that. People come to shows and bring me bottles of scotch. Neil Peart liked to drink Macallan scotch, and I had a guy bring me scotch one time, and I'm like, I don't drink scotch.
Because
Well,
he
I
did?
will.
Wait, because,
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean,
okay, gotcha.
Rush fans plug into these guys, and they find out not only what gear they're playing, what instruments, what they're doing, but what they did on their spare time. And Neil loved to have a glass of scotch every day. So people come to some of our shows and previous shows I played and say, "Oh, you're great, Neil. Here's some scotch." We were playing a gig last July. In the opening band, I kept hearing some guy go, "Neil, Neil." He's yelling Neil all night long. I could hear him. Remember that Burke up in Rochester?
Yep.
And then finally the guy goes, and he was talking to me because I was trying. I'm like, oh, yeah. But I was hearing somebody yell Neil all day long. I was ignoring the guy. So, Rush fans they wanted to plug into their personal lives, and that really creeped. I mean, if Neil Getty and Alex, bless Neil if he was still here, could see us as a Rush experience, they'd be so creeped out over us, trying to play their stuff. That's why we don't dress up like
Oh,
the
okay.
band. We
Okay.
go out and the instruments are our dress up.
Yeah.
When you
Okay.
come out,
This
you
is
see
as
that.
close to a wig as I'm going to have right here.
That's right. That guitar right there. If you're a Rush fan, is an iconic guitar that Alex played. My drums are, again, like I said, 1-to-1 replicas. That's our dress up.
Well, I want to talk about your guitar in a minute. So I was married to a drummer, but he was a jazz musician and a music teacher. So we had him locked in the basement, we soundproofed the basement, blah, blah, blah. And he respected Rush's drummer.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, yeah.
I mean,
Amazing.
his drum parts are so, we talk about what that song meant. Well, that song and every song, if you listen to a Rush song, every drum part that you hear, there's no accident. He crafted those parts, and he spent a lot of time creating the parts. Like he would play, like in verse 1, he'd play this and he'd play a drum fill. Then he'd go through verse 2, and that drum fill would be slightly different. He never repeated the same thing. Each drum fill and each pattern got progressively harder, and that kind of kept his attention as he played, and that's the way he crafted his song. So yeah,
I have a question about that, and then we're going to get to that guitar.
Yeah.
Did they write all their own songs?
Oh yeah,
So all of them.
every single one of them.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
With the exception of a record they did where they played covers, it was kind of like a strange time for them where they wanted to do a tour, but they didn't want to have to write new material, so they did an album where they played like the Who and
The Who, yeah.
the Yardbirds and stuff. But that was, that was the exception. But yeah, their career is all original music.
Okay, cool. So now the
But
guitar.
they did do a phenomenal remake of Hello Dolly. No, I'm just kidding.
Now the guitar. Let's see it. Pick it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah. So what you start with, if you know nothing, I'll tell you all about it. Or
Yeah,
if you,
we
you
know nothing.
Okay, so when I was a teenager, I had the VHS cassette of Rush's live show, Exit Stage Left, and Alex, the guitar player in Rush, played what I thought was some kind of Les Paul, which everybody knows Les Paul.
Yep.
But it was weird. It has this this hole in it, and what is going on? So I didn't know what it was, and sort of a lifelong pursuit was trying to figure out what in the world that guitar was. Well, as a teenager, I didn't know anything about it, but I lived a life in broadcasting and music, and eventually figured out this is a Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion.
Gibson, baby, I know the name.
Yeah, so like he would play this on By Tour and the Snow Dog, and lots of different songs on Exit Stage Left, and it's kind of a rare guitar. I mean, Howard Roberts is not a household name. Alex found this guitar and found it fit his needs, and I find the same thing. This is an amazing sounding guitar. It's fantastic for all of really all the 70s material, from the first record, well through, A Farewell to Kings. I would say even Hemispheres, like this guitar would be perfectly at home playing that type of music. Yeah, it's just It's a very unique guitar that Alex found fit his needs, and it's very much when you pick it up, it wants to play those Rush songs.
it wiggles in your arms, right? And it's telling
does,
you, rush,
yeah.
baby, rush.
Yeah,
I love that.
and Alex is famous for using kind of in some ways, kind of oddball instruments that really fit him in the music. But he's known, like you see the certain guitars, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the one that Alex Lifeson played. This is one of those guitars for me. And he has several others. He has his own signature Gibson guitars as well. But this with the guitar is pretty special because it's like an insider's, like you really have to know, Rush music and what he used to recognize that this is a cool thing. Otherwise, it just looks like a guitar.
No, that's a cool story. Thank you for sharing that. It's awesome. I love it.
You're welcome.
So let's play a second song, guys, and then we will have you talk about what the second song means to you. Here we go.
It's playing, guys. It's just got a long intro.
All right. So let's start with you, Burke. Tell us what that song means and means to you.
To me, that really was Rush's reach into like the MTV culture. That song was played almost by the hour on MTV. It sort of reached a different level of audience, I think, for Rush.
What's the name of that song?
Subdivisions.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's sort of, again, Neil being a deep thinker, it's talking about sort of the monotony of life in a suburb where, like, Rush, Getty, and Alex mostly, but even Neil to a different extent, talk about living outside the city and really wanting to be in the city, and just the sort of like cookie cutter nature of suburb life. And that's sort of the subject matter, but to me it was more of it was a song that was everywhere. It was on the radio, it was on MTV. It was sort of Rush reaching a different level of audience than they had on their previous record, Moving Pictures, which was their biggest record, and then they come out with this first single on the next record, Signals, and it just reaches a whole other level. And that's how I think of it. It's like ubiquitous. It was like, from Rush being a cult-like band to being the band that everybody's talking about.
Yes. What year was that song?
Is that 82?
82.
1982, yeah.
Wow, okay. So now, okay, Vince, now you talk.
Yeah, outside of being probably one of my top 5 favorite songs of Rush, like playing the drums, a very cool drum part. It was also talking about, and you go on Facebook now, and Facebook to me is like a reconnection of high school, and I see all these faces from high school on Facebook, and this talks a lot about the different groups and cliques that would go on in high school. There's a line in there that says "Be cool or be cast out," and then there's a lot of were you that cool kid that got to go to the parties, or the jock, or the people that didn't play sports, and high school's vicious, and it's funny because I look back now. Because I was probably the obnoxious jock in high school. You didn't want me coming over to your party at your house when your parents were out of town, because it might be silly with some of my other friends and tear the place up a little bit, but because we were a little crazy. But there's definitely an element there of, now I look back at all these people I grew up with, and I can remember this person in this group and this person in this group, and that's what that song is about. Because Neil, Getty, and Alex were certainly not in the popular group. Those guys were just playing music and wanted to play music. And Neil Peart said he used to have some physical abuse to him, especially when he'd be hanging around in the smoking area at the school. And he said something very so amazing, that when he played the drums, that was the first time. When he's young, when he's older, he didn't want to talk about the drums so much. But when he was younger, that was the first, that bit of adulation. Kind of you got some annoying jock on the football team, but he looks at Neil Peart playing the drums. He's like, "Hey, you're really good at playing the drums." So that kind of had a little connection there.
Well, drums were cooler than any other instrument when you were in high school. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know why, but they were. Okay,
Yeah.
So if you could play the drums, people thought you were cool. All right, you come out with a horn or a ukulele or a regular guitar, but the drums.
Yeah.
So now I have a question. Do either of you know where they got the name Rush from?
No.
Wait, for real?
I've heard some stories, but some Rush fans are crazy, so I don't want to say the wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it was Alex and Rutsy before Getty, maybe. I don't know.
I have no clue.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
certainly
don't-
not like widely known or talked about, at least as far as I know, in Rush circles. And we're pretty deep level nerds.
Yeah.
On the Rush.
Oh wow. You gotta
David
find out.
probably knows.
Gotta
Yeah,
find
so
out for me, okay? You think David
Yeah.
knows?
I think David knows.
So
yeah.
why don't you call David?
All right, I'm going to text David and find out.
Well, he's not gonna listen to your text. Should call him.
Oh, well, I guess I could call him.
All right.
Wait a
So
second.
now, all right, he's doing that. Okay, Vince. So,
Yeah.
you know, when you were in high school, though, you're younger than me, a little bit younger than me. So when you were in high school, I mean, Rush was it cool to be a Rush fan back then?
That's a great question because you
Okay.
hear that now.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't care. It's funny. Friends in high school, and anybody well, the people that knew me in high school, they always send a video on Facebook of some like little girl playing a Rush song on the drums, and these little phenom kids playing a Rush song, and so I don't know if I didn't care one way or the other because I was just zeroed in on their music, but people associated me with Rush.
But okay,
So I guess
but
that's kind of cool.
you still didn't answer my question. Was it cool?
I don't know. I was so insulated. I was in my own little world.
All
loving
right,
Rush.
so
I
it's,
I
you didn't
care.
know, you didn't.
I
it
think
didn't-
I can answer. No, it was not cool. In fact,
Okay.
all my friends, because Rush made a lot of instrumental music, they'd come and see a show from my band that was in high school, which played a lot of Rush, and they're like, "Do you play any songs that have words?"
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it was like, Rush had pop songs, but Rush is not a pop band.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was definitely not cool. Like, so even if you were thinking you were going to get like some cred for being in a band and playing guitar, oh, you're playing Rush now. It's all wiped off the
Oh
map.
my
No,
gosh,
you're not
that's
cool
so
anymore.
funny. Okay, that's what I kind of thought, but I wanted to
Yeah.
hear it from you guys. So, like with Elvis, with me, right? It was summertime when he died, August 16th, and I was at my cousin's for the
77,
week in
yeah.
New York,
Yeah.
and we always had a lot of oldies dances in our high school. So oldies were huge in my high school, and we would dress in poodle skirts and the whole bit. When Elvis died, my mother called me and said, over 20 of your classmates called. Is she okay? Is she okay? Is she
Yeah.
okay? So
Yeah.
it was cool when I was in high school to be an Elvis fan, you know?
Well, come on. If you don't like Elvis Presley, I mean,
No.
you're just a
Forget
pain in
it.
the ass.
Forget
You know,
it.
it's
Yes.
just-
Okay.
yeah.
You know what? You can't curse on my show, but you can say the word ass, baby. Yes.
Yeah,
All right?
because it's a donkey.
That's right, baby. So all right. So I don't know. I just really see if you guys can figure out because I'd like to know where the name Rush came from.
I did do a little,
Okay.
so my instinct was correct. So John Rutsey was the first drummer in the band. He
Okay.
was before Neil, and his brother suggested the name Rush as they needed something that was like short and sweet and memorable. So he came up with the name Rush for the band. So that was before Neil Peart joined the band.
Okay. So it was
That's cool.
short, sweet, Rush. I don't know about being sweet, but it was short and memorable. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask you guys another question. Now, this one you may or may not be able to answer because a lot of singer-songwriters, singers, whatever, some can answer immediately and some are like, ugh, too many. So here's my question. So we're going to go with you first, Vince. Do you have that one song, and it doesn't have to be Rush, it could be any group out there. Do you have that one song that has stayed with you forever that you could say is probably one of your favorite songs of all time?
100%.
Oh, okay.
Ventura Highway by America.
Okay,
He
see?
stole it from me.
That's my favorite song of all time.
All right, so he stole it from you. You were going to say the same thing?
It's the same, yeah. So, well, pretty much the record America's Greatest Hits, Muskrat Love, but Ventura Highway, I mean, oh my gosh, it's just
It's so
an
good.
absolute perfect song.
It's
But wait,
perfect.
can you tell me who sings that?
America.
America.
America. I'm sure I know the song, but how does it go a little bit? The chorus.
It's
Ventura Highway in the sunshine. It's stronger than moonshine. You wanna go? I know. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
I know
whoa.
it. With that. I know it, yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I know,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, you know the song. It's a
Heck
great
yeah,
song.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Doc G, did you know that song?
Yes, actually, everybody knows that song from Alligators in the Air.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
One of their
Alligators in the
references
air.
in there.
Yeah,
They know that
I
song
mean-
all the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he was looking at cloud formations and he saw lizards and alligators in the air.
I had lizards as pets. I loved them. And
Yeah.
okay, I'm crazy. So I've traveled all over the world, and I made my dad bring me and my daughter. She was only a teenager. She's 44 now, but she was a teenager, to New Zealand and Australia for the first time so we could jump off the same bridge A.J. Hackett did his first bungee jump off of. Okay? And all of a sudden, out of the water comes an alligator. And I know that they can't see you straight. They can only see this way. So my dad is freaking out, and I got straight in front of the alligator, 12 feet, and got a great photo. And he's freaking out. I'm like, shh, he can't see me. And then he went right back in the water. So it was cool.
Outstanding.
So now, all right, so thanks for getting me that little tidbit, because I'm always curious about how, bands come up with their names. All right, that was cool. So now let's play your third song. We have one left, right?
Yes, we have one left.
Okay, and then we'll have you guys talk about it.
Great.
Monday,
Okay, who would like to go first?
Oh, was that Tom Sawyer? So yeah, that's the song that's the song that pushed Rush into the mainstream. So that's the "Living on a Prayer" if you're in a Bon Jovi tribute, or
Yep, of
"Jump" if you're in a
course.
Van Halen tribute.
Come
So
on.
you gotta play that song. So it's a hard song to play, and it's that opening note, and the crowd goes crazy. They just love it. And so fun song to play, probably the most popular song for the audience that particular night.
Okay, Burke?
It's in every set list. Has to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, to me that's the song that everybody knows. That's the household name of songs for Rush. Like everybody knows Tom Sawyer. It's ubiquitous on classic rock radio. So if you don't know anything about Rush, you don't know they ever had another song, you know that they did Tom Sawyer.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. I mean,
And,
like I
and
said, I went to see them 100 years ago. I seen every band out there, but I didn't know any of this stuff about most of the bands, So I like hearing it because it's cool information.
And an interesting statistic is, so that tour kicked off in 1981, the Moving Pictures tour, and that song was played, whatever the first date of the Moving Pictures tour was, all the way until, what was it, August of 2015. They played it every show from that tour to the very end.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they never ever not played that. And there's just several times they didn't play other tracks off that same record that were also very popular. But that song was played at every Rush show from the day it came out until the day they retired.
So I have a friend watching, and he said, "Tell them the story about Foreigner, Jerry." So, all right, I was 16 years old, and this young man was 14, and his sister and I were very good friends. And her parents had a neighbor who was in his early 20s. So she trusted him, and so did my parents, to take us to a Foreigner concert. So there's two 16-year-old girls, her brother who was 14, and this 20-something-year-old guy. And, of course, he pulls out a joint. So I'm like, yes, give it to me. And my girlfriend, she wasn't really into it. I think she took one hit, whatever. But he wanted to try it. And, thinking back, we laugh about it a little bit. Thank God, it was harmless. Nothing went on. But that's not something cool to do. Don't send your two 16-year-old daughters with your 14-year-old brother with a 20-something-year-old guy to a concert like that. No, don't do it.
Yeah, I remember going with a girl. I think we were in 7th grade, and a girl that I used to hang around with, and her girlfriend was my girlfriend, and they're like a couple other people, and then their older brother, and got in the car, and my mom and dad, let's go see Boston.
Okay.
And I was just like, I would never let my kids do that nowadays. I mean, we just went and saw, and they were definitely twisting up a fatty in that car. I did not partake, but I remember smelling something funny in that car, and I know it wasn't a cigarette.
And I just remember, Foreigner, I believe, was my very first concert. I was 16.
Oh, wow.
And I remember people lighting up joints. We were in giant crowds. Who's going to catch you?
Yeah.
It was in the tri-state area, New York, Philly, New Jersey. I forget which state we were in. But, yeah, craziness, right, what went on.
There was, yeah, that's right. And I guess that was the drug of choice. Back then, alcohol was legal, marijuana wasn't, so that's what you do.
Insane, right? Okay.
That's the pushing your little teenage adolescence.
So now it's time where I'm going to read a poem out of my book.
Okay.
And I wrote this poem, and I like to read it when I do entertainers. It's called Utilizing Gifts and Talents. Okay, because a lot of people will message me after my shows, and they're like, "Jer, they sang so great. They danced so great. You write poetry so good. I wish I could do it." Everyone sometimes questions their self-worth and sometimes think they have nothing to offer. And I just like everyone to know that we all have a gift. You just got to figure out what it is. And I say this at most of my shows. What would we do without sanitation workers? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it, right? You know, I grew up in Long Island City, New York. My uncle and my cousin, they were called garbage men. And they would come down our street and we couldn't wait. We knew what time they were coming and they'd be beeping and we'd be waving. You know, it's like a great memory, but everyone has something to offer. So, guys, if you're struggling with what you have, please listen to every word of this poem. Utilizing gifts and talents. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. So don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened, then you can roar. Be proud of who you are, be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name, the Rush Experience, baby, will live forever, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give to yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And guys, that's what you're doing. You know, you're keeping this music alive. You're making people smile. You've got people coming to your shows wanting to give you vodka, right? What'd you say? Was it vodka?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Scotch, yeah, Macallan Scotch.
Okay. I mean, think about it, right? It's pretty cool. Yelling out their names to you, right? Think about what you're doing for these people.
Yeah.
So never stop.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Keep going. So now.
Yeah, that's a beautiful affirmation. I think I should read that every day.
Okay. Text me if you want. Oh, I have your emails. I'll send you the poem. Okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
email it to you.
Yeah,
All
lovely.
right, but and it's funny. A lot of entertainers say, "Jar, I need that poem. I'm hanging it on my wall."
Yeah.
It's so funny because you know we got to remember that we take what we have for granted. You know, I always say to people, or I'll give you an example. You guys are singers, right? All right. When you hear your songs, when you hear you singing these songs, I don't mean the guitar playing and the drumming. I'm talking about the voices. What do you guys think? Is it good?
I think it is. Yeah, I think we do a fair representation of what we're trying to do here.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because a
I
lot
do.
of singers question, did it sound great? Did I mess? Stop. Okay, we
Yeah.
don't hear any of that. We
It's
only
because it
hear
makes
the
you
good stuff.
vulnerable hearing
Yeah.
your own voice.
Yeah, but we only hear the good stuff. If you guys messed up, we would not know it. Well, except if it was an ETA, an Elvis tribute artist, I would know it,
Yeah.
okay? That's the only time, and I'm being serious, that I would know
Yeah.
if they messed up. Any other singers that I love, I wouldn't know, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So keep going, guys. So now we still have a little time left. I want you to give everyone your information, if they want to reach out to you, how they can get your music, what's up and coming.
Go ahead, Bert.
Yeah, so we're very active on social media. So we try and keep all of our shows updated on Facebook and Instagram. We have a website, The Rush Experience. Yeah, we got lots of great venues we're playing in the next year. House of Blues in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We play an amazing place outside of Buffalo, New York, called the Riviera Theater, where they have us come to play 2 nights in a row. Where we play the last time we played there 2 nights in a row, we played 2 full albums, one on each night. We're playing in Detroit and near Chicago. So we're pretty. We spread far out trying to bring this music to people. So we're really looking forward to seeing everyone.
Yeah, anybody in the Manchester New Hampshire area. We're headed up there in just a couple of weeks at a
right.
venue called the Rex Theater. So coming up to the north, coming out of looking forward to maybe getting out of this heat down here in DC.
Have you guys ever traveled out of the country?
No, so that's a great thing. We get asked that question a lot,
Okay.
and because we primarily play the Middle Atlantic, the Northeast, and the Midwest. The goal is to travel, say 10 hours from home base, because we bring our back line meaning the drum set, and Burke,
Right.
Burke's element, what he brings to the band, his tone is, to me, and I've listened
Right,
to
right.
a lot of Rush tributes. His tone is Alex Lifeson, and that's a hard thing to do. So it's hard to do fly shows.
Gotcha.
But I would love to play in Canada, obviously. But there's a lot of taxes when you got to bring all that stuff across the border and so on and so forth. So, but who knows? We'll never say no. Well,
Okay.
we'll just, but we want to put on our show like a Rush show. I don't want to show up with a 5-piece backline drum kit just to play, to say I played in England. I want to play the Neil Peart drum set that I have, because that's what people are looking for.
That's pretty cool. Okay, what about you, Burke?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. So I have my philosophy on this is to bring the show that Rush would do. So Vince has got, we're all very invested emotionally and financially into bringing this show to people. So we have like this guitar, and I've got a dozen other guitars that are versions or even exact ones that Alex would use, and I have real gear like this speaker cabinet behind me. It's heavy and it's expensive to move across, especially across a border.
Okay.
But that's what they would do. They would bring this gear to make their sound come alive for the people. So we just don't cut any corners and it's just basically a non-starter for me. That's what we do. We're not gonna, I could get a little box that's this big and play guitar through it, and 90% of the people wouldn't know any different, and we could play a show and it would sound more, but to me, it's not authentic anymore.
Gotcha.
So we have to be authentic.
So I have a friend watching, Ina Vasquez. Her husband is Carlos Vasquez. He's a singer, okay? A bit older than you guys. All right, he's amazing. And she said she loves the music, and she said your musicians are fab.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now, all right. So I don't want to end the show in case there was something else you wanted to say. I don't want you to say, oh, I should have talked about this, or I wanted to say this. I'm going to give each of you the mic. You each have a few more minutes, okay? So let's start with you, Vince. Take the mic.
Yeah, so the Rush experience is exactly what it is. We're going to make it very easy to understand what you're seeing. And our goal is to come out, and like Burke and I just said, when you walk in the venue and the lights are down and the intro music plays, lights come up, boom, and you see the drums and the guitar and the keyboard. You see 3 guys on stage. We're a 3-piece. Rush was a 3-piece. And so we're authentic that way. And if you've ever seen any of our social media, when I put this together, I wanted to come up with a tagline, and I'm very happy that this hit me one day, because we had a different name for the band at the time. It was too obscure. It was for the deep Rush fans. So we just said, let's make this great for everybody. It's the Rush experience. And I took a line from the song Headlong Flight, which was on Rush's last album, and at the very end, Getty screams out the words, "Live it all again." So that's the tagline, the Rush experience, live it all again. You're going to come out, and for 2.5 hours, we hope to take you through your favorite band, certainly our favorite band, and do it as best we possibly can to where you think you're seeing your favorite band. And again, together, we'll live it all again.
I love that. Okay, now, Burke, can you top that, honey?
Well, if I have to.
Here you go.
Yeah. So for me, it comes down to when we play a show and we're talking to folks that have seen the show and they're expressing their appreciation. It's a deep emotional connection, not necessarily to me as a person or to Vince but they they get it. Like, you can't fake authenticity. You can't fake it and have people connect with it on an emotional level. And they come up and they're just like, thank you. It's like I saw Rush on their last tour in 2015, and I didn't think I could ever feel that way again. And I came, like a friend of mine said, hey, you should come see these guys. And I came, and they just say thank you. It's like, and they want to hug
Yeah.
us. They want to
Yep.
express how appreciative they are that somebody cares enough to keep it alive and to keep it moving. And that's that's why I do it. I mean, let's be honest, there's not a lot of money involved
Right.
in doing this on this level. So we're really doing it for, I mean, for a bit for ourselves, because we want to prove that it can be done. And I like to think that, that we're not channeling in a way where we're putting wigs on and putting a show on. We're channeling the like emotional connection that Rush had with their fans, and that's what I think we do it, and that's why we pride ourselves in being a three-piece. Like it's much harder to do that way, but we want to be authentic, and so that's why we do it this way. We have found each other somehow. The cosmos brought us together, and David, who isn't here to represent himself, is an absolutely singular talent. I mean, I've never been around a guy that has that much talent, and just like Getty had that much talent. And he inspires me. Vince inspires me. We all just we want. It's like the to-do list is never ending. It's like, okay, we did this. Now what are we gonna do? Okay, we got Manhattan Project down. Okay, so when are we gonna do the Weapon? When are And it's like it never ends. We want to just keep adding and adding and adding and bringing the experience that these Rush fans had to life again, so that they can have it in their lives again. Because it's a gaping hole for Rush not to be performing anymore. And so we don't do it all by ourselves, but we like to help contribute to people's lives and keep it alive for them, and keep it going, and keep that emotional connection that Rush worked for 40 plus years to establish. Yeah, we're riding coattails, but we also think we're just keeping that spark alive in people's
Beautiful.
hearts.
Well, you're right, and what you're doing is amazing. And David, unfortunately, you couldn't be with us, but I know you're watching this, and they've spoken nothing but incredible words about you. Like, to them, you are one of the greatest. Okay,
He's great. He's
musicians.
something else, man.
So, and thank you for trying to get on at least. So, guys, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, really, for honoring
you.
us here on the Geri Petito Show, Hamilton Radio. Doc G loves your music. Did you need to say something?
I just
he's,
wanna-
he's by the mic.
Just a couple
Okay.
comments real quick, or you
Sure.
can answer the question real quick. Some of the albums that you pull the songs from are primarily the fan based albums that fans really love, I'm sure. But are there a lot of fan favorites that you pull and haven't pulled from some of them albums?
Yeah, I mean, we the songs, the long stuff. An 11-minute odyssey called Xanadu off of A Farewell to Kings, that blows people's minds. Burke talked about instrumentals earlier. A song called La Via Strangiato, which is an instrumental from the Hemispheres album, and those are two monster songs. There's songs that we play constantly because we love playing them. Two of them come to mind off of the Permanent Waves album, Natural Science and Jacob's Ladder. Those are two. Natural Science is probably the most physical song and the most mental song, because it's about 9 minutes long with a lot of time changes, and it's fast, a lot of physical drumming and a lot of physical guitaring. You got to remember where you are. So those songs we're always going to play. But then we're going to do the girlfriend songs, The Spirit of Radio and Red Barchetta and Limelight, Tom Sawyer, because some guy, God bless these women, they come out with their Rush nerd boyfriends and husbands, and they're wearing their tour shirt from 1981, and they're sitting there with them supporting their man. So we're trying to do something for them too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Although
you.
more and more we're seeing the women are the ones that are the Rush nerds. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
and like
I
if you
like
remember
it.
Rush's documentary, that the president of the fan club that put together the yearly gathering was a woman from here in Washington D.C. where we are. She was a speechwriter, I believe, for Obama, who put together the Rush Fan Fest.
That's
every
so
year.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. So
Thank you.
this was amazing. It really was. I had so much fun with you guys.
Thanks for having us.
So
Yeah.
we're going to close out with the AI song that I told you guys Robert Sweeney made for me. It's cool, it's fun, and Ina makes fun of it every time it's on, and you'll hear why. Okay, how he says my name. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the stage where stories untold, candid moments captured, memories unfold. Gary's got the vibes, a soothing flow. Come sit back, relax, let the good times glow. Jazz in the air, let it take you away. Welcome to the Geri Petito Show, where every heartbeat and every note flow. Jazz melodies weaving through the night. Together we'll shine. Everything feels right. Deep conversations where the heart finds a voice. Together we laugh, sometimes we rejoice. Tales of adventure, the rhythms embrace. In each note a journey, feel the space. Step into the light, let the music. Welcome to the Geri Petito Show, where every heartbeat and every note flow. Jazz melodies weaving through the night. Together we'll shine. Everything feels right. So tune in now, let the magic start. Geri's podcast, a place for your art.